everyone, welcome to Lex Talk World Talk Show presented by ClickAway Creators. Today we have Mr. Parvez Memon with us. Parvez is responsible for leading a team of 20 specialized criminal defense lawyers across MZM Legal in Mumbai and New Delhi office. As a founding partner, he has played an intricate role in growing and developing criminal litigation vertical at MZM, which is widely regarded as one of India's leading white-collar criminal defense practices. He's a seasoned practitioner with over 20 years of niche experience of trial work before courts across India in the fields of financial fraud, criminal compliance and regulation, money laundering, bribery, corruption, and many more. Hello, Parvez Memon. How are you?
I am good. Good morning. I hope you all are good.
Yeah, we are doing amazing. I hope the same for you.
Thank you very much.
Glad to know that. Okay. Mr. Memon, let's throw light on your journey first, and then we'll talk about your specialization and the most memorable cases. So how your journey has been as a legal professional so far?
Well, if I may put it this way, that I started my practice in 1999, and it has been 21 years of learning experience, which was quite accomplishing for me for my practice areas as such. We have achieved a lot from where we started, from a 2-member team to now a 50-member team in Mumbai. And we have our offices in Delhi, and we work with close association in offices in London as well. So currently sitting here in London to establish MZM Legal London here, I say that our career has been quite accomplishing and fulfilling and adventurous and thrilling at the same time, because when you look at the criminal practice as such, every day you get in and you are educated with new facts of any new case, where people come in with different modus operandis of their being either cheated or they having been cheated somebody, if they are an accused or if they are a complainant. So you get to learn a lot sitting in your office. You have your challenges, and every case is adventurous for you. It's a long journey from inception, right from lodging of the complaint until taking it to its logical conclusion at the trial stage. So we have been guiding people, and even large conglomerates like Tata's and Reliance and others. So we have been guiding from the initial stages of lodging of complaint up till the end of the trial. So it's far-reaching and thrilling at the same time, I must say.
Thank you so much, Parvez, for throwing light on your journey. Now let's talk about your most memorable case. I'm sure it's a very weird question to ask.
But it may be legitimate on your part to ask me that, but given the vast experience that I have under my belt for last 20 years, it is very difficult for me to select one specific case, because we have come across several such cases which were not just challenging, but very interesting given the facts of that particular case. To name a few, we have been important part of an extradition proceeding currently going on in London, initiated by the government of India against a particular high-profile accused person who has absconded allegedly from India. We don't say that he has absconded. But as a defense team, it was a mammoth task to collect evidence, to draw defense strategy, to file defense evidence in extradition proceedings. So it was a very challenging experience for us for the last 3 years it's going on. And we have been integral part of the defense strategy with British solicitor firms. And other than that, the local cases that I may remember where foreign nationals were involved, be it NDPS case or be it serious economic offenses by the economic offense wing of Mumbai. We have prosecuted and defended people in the CBI courts and the PMLA court under the Enforcement Directorate for offenses of money laundering. So there are very many cases, and I cannot pick and choose one over the other. Every case has its ups and downs and facts which are new to us, where we get to learn so many things from each of the case.
So when you're talking about learnings, the key takeaways, would you like to also throw light on some other case that you would want to talk about? I'm sure one or two are just not enough. So any key takeaways you might have taken from other cases that you would like to discuss here on this platform?
Well, then I will have to go back in time, say about 15 years back. Uh, uh, we had a special legislation then in India called POTA, which is Prevention of Terrorism Act, where we had defended the accused who were allegedly involved in a Ghatkopar bus blast case, which was in the year 2003. And several educated Muslim community members were prosecuted, being doctors, being engineers, and software engineers and whatnot, by alleging that they had some proximity with members of the banned SIMI organization. And in that pretext, there was one engineer from Parbhani, Aurangabad, who was killed in the police custody. You may all remember, if you browse through media reports, Khwaja Yunus case. It is known as the infamous Khwaja Yunus police custody death, where the infamous cop, now again in controversy last year, was Mr. Sachin Waze. So Sachin Waze is now again in custody in some other case. But back then in time, in 2003, he was a member of the ATS in Mumbai, which was alleged to have killed Khwaja Yunus in custody. So that inquiry went on from the Pota court of Justice Bangale, who was a judge then of the Pota court. He was then elevated to the High Court, so we call him Justice Bangale. So Justice Bangale has ordered inquiry into the death of Khwaja Yunus because the police alleged that he is alive and he has escaped from their custody. So that investigation and inquiry went on for about 6 to 8 months, where the court was surprised to note that the evidence that was forthcoming from the prosecution was not trustworthy. And what the members of the family are alleging, that Khwaja Yunus has been killed extrajudicially, is correct. And that's how the FIRs were lodged under the orders of the High Court of Mumbai. And 4 of the police people, including Mr. Sachin Waze, were prosecuted for that offense of killing Khwaja Yunus in custody. Following therefrom, the main case of Ghatkopar blast, where Dr. Mateen and other engineers, software engineers like Muzammil and Zahir. Zahir was acquitted by the Pota Review Committee. He was discharged by the Pota Review Committee, and the other members who faced the trial. At the end of the trial, they were all acquitted honorably. And even the appeal against the acquittals has failed in the state of Maharashtra. So it was a big victory for us to prove their innocence, because they were obviously falsely implicated. The police wanted to use third-degree methods and extort confessions. Their confessions were recorded, which were disproved in the court after retraction, that the DCPs who alleged to have recorded the confessions were not even present on duty on the particular day. So very, very minute examination of evidence, very 100% or 200% involvement in the day-to-day trial that was going on in the special case, resulting into acquittals of the clients, was a big victory for us back then in 2005 or 6, I don't remember the year, but it started from 2003 and went on for 2 to 3 years. So it was a good case. And during those days, one more case that I would like to mention was the Anna Hazare PIL that we had filed in the Bombay High Court, in the Telgi scam of the stamp scam. The alleged forged scam of stamp papers was being done in India, which was in those days worth several thousand crores of rupees. So Abdul Karim Telgi was the main accused in that case, was the mastermind of the stamp scam. And in that case, it was a historic case, because under the observations of High Court appointed SIT, the sitting commissioner of Mumbai Police then, Mr. Rakesh Sharma was, not Rakesh Sharma, sorry, Mr. Ranjit Singh Sharma, was arrested for his involvement into the scam. So all of those historic cases we have seen right from inception of our practice. And there may be several many. If I sit to talk about it, it will take the whole day. So I don't want to talk about each and every case. There are several important other cases other than this also, which may be more interesting.
Sure, we would love to conduct another interview for that. I mean, that is my most favorite question of all times. You know, I'd really like to know about the most memorable cases and what exactly did you, learn from it. But moving on, let's talk about white collar crimes in this particular year, 2021, and how do you look at them? How the scenarios are going to change, how the law is going to be, and everything related to white collar crimes, maybe next year or just 5 years down the line. Let's talk about 5 years down the line.
Yeah, so let me tell you, if you again go to internet history and browse through the pages, you will see that MZM Legal was the first law firm, boutique law firm, that we established in the year 2005, exploring the niche area of white collar crimes. So MZM Legal is now recognized by all the major authorities across the world, be it Who's Who Legal or Asia Chambers and Partners or Legal 500 or everybody. We are in this field for last more than 15 years now. And we have tapped this area as a niche area of practice in criminal law, because even we wanted to distance ourselves from the blue collared or blue chipped crimes at the high in those days, when we used to hear the stories of the underworld or extortions or terrorism or such blue collared crimes, which were though thrilling but very dangerous for us, and we did not enjoy practicing that area of law. So we wanted to establish a boutique law firm for white collar crimes, which we did in the year 2005, and have been going on well since then. And I must mention here that after MZM Legal, several A-listed law firms who were concentrating on corporate law or mergers and acquisitions or other areas of practice in law have all thereafter realized the importance of this particular area of practice, white collar crime. And now you will find that the major law firms have a department headed by partner who practices or who is an expert of white collar crimes. So I must say that the area has developed in all this last one or a decade, because the modus of performing crimes or committing crimes has changed significantly. Like earlier, the robbers or thieves have to come to your house to rob you. Now they can do it in the coffers of their offices, sitting on the laptop and hacking your accounts, or doing credit card frauds, or doing banking frauds, or transferring your monies, or hacking your accounts. So that is one part of white collar crime, of course. But there are huge, companies who are either being prosecuted by the agencies, be it the CBI or the Enforcement Directorate, for offenses, various offenses of corruption offenses, because the way the system works in India, everybody is prone to litigation. There could be a rivalry between two companies where either of them is throwing allegation on the other, and it's murky and it's really complicated. So you need experts like us to come into picture and advise the companies. We are also advising several multinational companies from US, UK, and UAE who have their subsidiaries in India. So because in US and UK, they are exposed to potential liabilities under FCPA laws or DGA laws, which are Foreign Corrupt Practices Act and others. So we are always called upon by these companies wherever there is a whistleblower complaint, or wherever there is a compliance issue, or they have to conduct an internal investigation, or forensic audits of their books of accounts, or forensic audits of the performance of the management and such cases. So they need experts who are well versed of the white collar crimes and areas of practice. It's not confined only to IPC, Indian Penal Code. There are several other special statutes, books, and laws that are to be dealt with and factored into when you are defending or advising a big company. So white collar crime has, of course, taken a good shape in the last decade, and I see it only growing and growing in the next 5 years. If you go to see the practice areas in the last 1 year, where all the solicitor firms and other firms were badly hit due to the COVID situation and the lockdown situation, the litigation part had come to a standstill. The civil laws, the arbitration laws, the corporate laws, or the mergers, or everything was on hold. The only area that flourished in practice was white collar crime, because the prosecuting agencies were on their toes. They were prosecuting people, they had to get people, and it's always a matter of urgency when either you have to file a complaint or you have to defend a complaint. So only urgent matters were being taken up. and our clients were happy that we could come to their rescue at this odd hour and give the relief that they wanted. So white collar crime was an area which was absolutely not affected by the COVID situation. And even given in the future, the way the economy of the country is flourishing, I see that many more litigations in any area of white collar crime coming into our pocket or our bucket. And we see ourselves growing from the team of 50 to 100 very soon. And we are in the process of acquiring law firms in several other states of India, be it Bangalore or Goa, Chennai, and other states. So we are talking with other small law firms to acquire them. So we see this area of practice growing and growing and growing, and there is no end to it. I am sitting here currently in London. We are trying to establish MZM Legal London now. And because we already have clients in the UK, we have many Indian nationals sitting in UK having interests in UK companies and all. So we are on their advisory board right from the inception, initial stages of dialogue with other companies and all. So it's a good area to practice, and I can say I'm accomplished, and I feel very happy to be in the field.
Well, thank you so much for throwing light on white collar crimes in a very elaborative manner. I'm sure this is going to be a lot of help to our viewers. At the same time, I wish you and MZM Legal all the very best for the future as well. Thank you so much, Mr. Memon, for sharing such great insights with us. And we really look forward to having you again and, discuss some other trending topics in the legal space. And for our viewers, if you like this chat with Mr. Memon, please like and share this video and also subscribe to ClickAway Creators YouTube channel to appreciate what we do, and you have more coming from industry legal leaders. This is Bharti for Lex Talk signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.